Nice. Yeah, looks good. I'm just taking a picture of someone that has no idea that I took their picture. And I guess the question is, am I legally allowed to do that? The short answer is yes. This person standing over here who is unknown, has no idea that I've taken their picture, is in a public park, which means they have no expectation of privacy. But would the rules change if I was a police officer? That's a tougher question to answer. And it was brought to our attention when an Abbotsford resident asked us to have a look into a situation of just that happening. His name is James Breckenridge, and long-time readers of SCN will recognize him as the man who wrote a homeless blog and now volunteers at the Salvation Army shelter in Abbotsford. He says that he's witnessed a police officer in an unmarked police car take a picture of someone just standing on the road, didn't appear to be doing anything wrong. And he asked us to take a look into the legalities of this issue. We decided to take his challenge. But before I go any further, we should let you hear what he had to say in his own words. So, James, tell me exactly what it was that you saw.
I came out of the Dragon Fort, just behind you there. Walked to my car with dinner, put my dinner in the car, and I saw a plane car make a right turn there, pull a U-ey, and stop across the street. I saw the camera come out, and he was photographing somebody around the corner from me. At that point, I got in my car because of my curiosity, rolled slowly down, looked till I could see behind the camera, saw it was a gentleman wearing the Abbotsford police uniform. I turned the corner, recognized the person he was photographing as a new arrival in town. He'd been in the shelter just a few days. He had like the gang uniform, tattoos all over his arm, and he's in the wrong part of the city, and he hasn't been here long enough to really do anything, so the only reason they could have for taking his photograph is his appearance and being in this part of the city. So as I'm driving away, I started wondering just how many other pictures of people they'd taken on the sly, and did they have files on everybody, and I started to wonder what kind of files they had on me.
Obviously, there are a lot of questions here, not a lot of answers. Since we don't actually know who the man who had his picture taken was, we don't know about his criminal record, we don't know about his past, and we really don't know what he was doing standing on that street corner. Perhaps it's possible that the man has a lengthy criminal record. And if he's a newcomer to town, isn't it remotely possible that perhaps a neighboring municipality warned the Abbotsford police that he was coming to town and, keep an eye on him? What we do know is that James Breckenridge is not the only person in Abbotsford to make allegations of suspicious police surveillance. In fact, James Breckenridge actually has an ally in town, one that he probably doesn't know that he has. So, Kim, does it surprise you to learn that the Abbotsford Police Department might be taking pictures of regular people?
No, for a while now, since 1999 that I know of, the Abbotsford Police have been coming to rallies and events that I sponsored, and they've been taking pictures of the people randomly or searching everybody that goes to the rally or something like that. So they've been pushing the limits of surveilling people for no reason for quite a few number of years.
All right. Now, what is your understanding of the law yourself? I mean, I know you've had some dealings with the Abbotsford Police. What is your understanding of the law as it is of the Abbotsford Police taking pictures of people walking on the street?
Well, I think if they're doing an investigation and the pictures will further the investigation, that's acceptable. But if they're just taking pictures of people at a political rally, now, especially a marijuana rally, that's really infringing on their freedom of assembly and their freedom of association and their freedom of speech and freedom of expression. If they're taking pictures of people just randomly coming out of the Sally Ann or something like that because they think that they may be undesirable and they're trying to collect a catalog of all the undesirable people, that's pretty bad.
Far be it from us just to take Tim Felger's word for something. In order to find out what the exact legalities are of the police taking pictures of people who aren't really under any criminal investigation, we need to find out from the police themselves. So we're going to ask them.
Public Information Officer for the Abbotsford Police Department. I am currently unavailable. Please leave a name with a phone number, and I will return your call as soon as possible. Media inquiries after business hours can be directed to the station commander at 604-859-5200.
So much for that idea. Since the Abbotsford police did not answer the questions we wanted to ask them, and we couldn't get any police response at all on anything, that means we had to do our own research. And despite an examination of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and our own internet search, we couldn't find a single phrase anywhere that suggests that the police had rights that are any different than that of a regular citizen, which means that the police apparently have a right to take the picture of anyone they want walking in this park. In fact, in a conversation with a lawyer who resides in Abbotsford, we actually discovered that what matters is what the police intend to use the evidence they collect for. Meaning that if they think someone walking around this park, like say me for example, if they think I am involved in some sort of criminal activity, then it seems to be generally okay. But it's, as a general rule and a guideline, they actually shouldn't be taking pictures of people who just don't seem to be doing anything. So taking a picture of a criminal is one thing. Taking a picture of a potential criminal seems to be something different altogether. But it does raise another interesting question, and that is, how often are these pictures being taken?
The thing was is that the camera wasn't just a little toy camera. It was a camera that basically looked like it meant business for taking pictures out of a police car of people. And so, I started to wonder, well, obviously this camera's only purpose is to take pictures of people kind of on the sly so they don't notice it, and that starts to smack of a Orwellian police state.
I've been claiming for a long time that this is what the Nazification of Canada is, and that our federal conservative government is right in bed with them, and that this whole atmosphere or this whole culture of drug prohibition is leading to more erosion of our rights, and that if we don't pay attention to it pretty soon, we're going to have a problem.
Again, in a situation like this, there are a lot of things we simply don't know. We don't know how often the Abbotsford police have been surveilling the citizens because, unlike the Abbotsford police, we don't keep surveillance on people. What we can do is try and fill in the gaps as best we can. And in this case, this means pointing at a newsletter published by the British Columbia Civil Liberties Association, who listed 11 criteria for acceptable video surveillance in public areas. Now, apparently, according to the sources we spoke to, there is no difference between video surveillance and photographic evidence. Those 11 criteria include, in order for the video/photograph to be acceptable, that the surveillance must fulfill an important purpose, such as reducing the risk of physical harm or other illegal activities, and not simply the control of nuisance behaviors like loitering or panhandling. Our gentleman in Abbotsford wasn't doing anything wrong and was in fact loitering, so that criteria doesn't seem to apply. But it also includes things of being less invasive of privacy than alternate means of addressing the problem, like, talking to the guy. And it has to be advantageous to all, or at least most of the people, giving up their privacy. This guy didn't even know his picture was being taken. And they have to provide the public with clear notification of presence where this surveillance is occurring and inform the public of their rationale. Call me a cynic. I don't think not answering our phone calls is particularly a good example of them explaining themselves. So, to answer James' question, and to anyone who's wondering about their own privacy rights as it concerns the police in public areas, my advice is dress nice, always have a smile on your face, because not bad. You never know who will be watching. For Something Cool News, I'm Fred Johns.